most important thing is to not get triggered, which is easier said than done. Because if someone says something that triggers you, they immediately have control on you and you get sucked into their frame. And it's important to understand this too. In life, there are constantly frames and frame battles, and it's this whole game of frames. What is a frame? Well, think of just like a window frame. If you look out a certain window, you see a view. You look out another window, you see the same view, but a little different. The same with reality. All of us, we live in our own frame as a human. None of us see the world the exact same because it's colored by our past, our experiences, and just who we are. And whenever you talk to others, like say two people talk, it's two frames coming together, and a win-win is a couple tweaks on each side and finding common ground. There's a million ways you can view the same thing. For example, say, I'm really loud right now. One frame is, ugh, Julien's really loud, that's annoying. There's one way of viewing this. What's another way of viewing this? Whoa, look at how expressive and free he is. Two ways of viewing it. I remember when I was younger in Hollywood, this is 2009-ish, I worked 3 months at Honda of Hollywood selling cars. I was broke. And I was really young, and I remember the person doing the interview said, hey, we like you, but you're a little young and you don't have much experience. There's a frame. What's another frame? That's actually good because I don't have any bad habits. So you can just instill all the right habits from the start, and I'm young. That means I have more energy. Same facts, just different frames. You get it? Now, people will try to bait you into walking into frames where they're trying to activate their winner effect by putting you down. And you must catch this and not walk into that frame. For example, why are you trying so hard? Why? Okay. What did he just do? Walked into my frame.
Got defensive.
Yep. If you acknowledge my frame, because what you said, oh, it's the only thing I know what to do, now you reinforced it. So ultimately, it was a trap. And people will do this all the time. They open this door, and it's a trap door, and they're like, come on in, and then you're trapped. Right? Is that what you decided to wear today?
Of course it is.
Why?
Because I like it.
So I like the answer. It's a bit more neutral, but there's reactivity in the voice, which makes you still fall into my frame. If you have a stronger emotional reaction than me, it subcommunicates weaker frame and you get sucked in. So that's the key, where you could say that, but it has to be much more grounded. Right? Is that what you decided to wear today? Yeah. Like non-reactive. Some common surface level tells is your voice goes up at the end. Yeah. Right? If it's like that, you're done. This is also why deep inner work and letting go is so key, because if it does trigger you, you can't really fake this. You're going to be reactive, right? If your buttons are pushed. So you can think, analyzing yourself, what are my buttons? Think of all the things people have said to you. What really gets under your skin? When they say what? When they criticize you about what? When they call you out on what? Make a list, do the letting go there. So next time it happens, there's not the emotional trigger. Now, even if there is, before even responding, I would take a deep breath. So say someone's like, what, that's what you decided to wear? If you feel the trigger, like, oh, yeah. And the deep breath, own it, even if it's slower and at a different pace. Because that also communicates you're not getting sucked in. Because people get sucked into frames too when it comes to emotions, the energy, the intensity, and how you talk, even your personality. Perhaps you hang out with someone, you can even think of just cultural frames. I remember when I was younger, I would listen to, when I'm like 12, I'd listen to Nirvana, like grunge and rock, and I'd be really into that. And I'd get sucked into that frame, like, oh, to be like rocker, like Nirvana and baggy cut jeans. And then I'd listen to like Eminem. I'm like, actually, it's all about rap music. Different frames. Perhaps different friends. You might hang out with one friend who's really into sports, maybe you're not, and you kind of get sucked in. just by the excitement about it. Maybe a friend who's very negative and you get sucked into the negativity. A friend who's very upbeat, over the top, like, hey, how's it going? Ha ha, how's it going? And you sense yourself even trying to be all like, hey, how's it going too? Like your version of that's because you're adapting on, you're reacting off of them, as opposed to being at the cause, setting your own pace. Analyze celebrity interviews too, right? All those like late night, like Jimmy Fallon and whatnot. Watch the energy. I like this one because Jimmy Fallon's always over the top, laffy-daffy. And then you'll see some of the guests react and get sucked into his frame where they try to be laffy-daffy too. And then you'll see some who just slow down. They're like, hey, so tell me about you, what in your new movie? And then you'll see the actor or actress just be like, you know, there's something about movies that just, but it sucks you in. It's like, it's at a slower pace. It's just a different pace. And that communicates, I'm marching to the beat of my own drum in a way. So even if someone calls you out fast, like, what is that? That's what you decided to wear? Why are you trying so hard? If you're like, oh my God, what do I say? Just very neutral, not retreating, not attacking, just a deep breath, grounded, and then respond. But the most important is to be non-emotionally reactive.